Hello, this is Ron Paul Isaiah. You are listening to RP Isaiah Show. We have an interesting guest today and an interesting subject or topic. We have George Briggs here. Mr. Briggs, he has been working in many taboos and culture, and he actually is in University of Frankfurt, and he's been researching into taboos such as bestiality and other taboos as homosexuality. And so we'll be having a little interview and a talk with him. So why don't you introduce yourself, Mr. Briggs?
Okay, thank you for having me, Isaiah. My name is George Briggs. I'm currently working on my master's degree in Frankfurt University, uh, specifying on taboos of the world, such as bestiality, homosexuality, ancestry, and those are the three hardcore topics that are really discussed and researched into.
All right. So how long have you been living in Germany?
Oh, Germany. This is actually my second year. Yeah, 2.5 years. I just recently moved here from the UK. I went to King's College
Right.
University in London and to obtain my bachelor's degree there, and then from here I'm as a transfer student. Yep, studying taboos.
So let's get into the topics. Let's get into the hardcore
Okay.
topics, and I'll try not to laugh because
Oh,
that's a bit
okay.
immature for me. I'll try to be professional. May chuckle a few times, but at the end of the day, I respect you, and thanks for being on the show. And so let's start talking about bestiality and what you think, and just kind of summarize the whole thing so people understand.
Okay. Okay. We'll start with bestiality. Well, bestiality, to start off is a very touchy subject.
Yes, in America and Western cultures too. Yes.
Western culture, almost in any culture, a very touchy subject, not really much of a conversation starter or a topic that's discussed, in daily conversations.
Right.
And and it and those are one of the many reasons why people are attracted to such a notion, such as bestiality. And there is a booming pornographic industry in bestiality, in America especially. Um,
Yes,
and
and I've seen quite a few of those videos my friends would send me or something, and it's some weird stuff. You could see them on Spankwire and RedTube and all those pornographic websites. And it's just very rare to see those. But it's just it's weird. It's very taboo in the Western culture to see that. And
yeah,
we've heard things in Mexico. If you could kind of summarize on that too, talk about what's going on with the other countries and maybe
okay,
maybe
yeah,
maybe what other countries do with taboos like this
yeah.
bestiality.
Obviously, if we want to, go global, yes, in Colombia, um, it's deep in the countryside, obviously not in the central, but there is the taboo. Bestiality is intricately part of the culture where the parents, um, recommend, promote their son to, prior to having sexual intercourse with, a female, to have sex with a pony several times, to train himself to, to yeah, to just kind of brush off and just be prepared for intercourse with a human being. And yeah, I think in ancient cultures as well, Egyptians, they had a thing with horses, um, the female slaves, and horses, and I think that was for entertainment purposes by, by the high rulers with status, people with, high status.
So,
And
so I mean, it's kind of like, having sex with a minor, or, in the past, it was somewhat allowed. Men were allowed to marry, 13, 14-year-olds,
yeah,
grown men,
that's the
and it's kind of somewhat like that in with ancient Greece, with the, gay, homosexual behaviors in other cultures like that. So, in a way, you're making a point, and but just in this culture right now, it's just such a taboo. It's you tell a person, what do you think about bestiality? They would look at you like you're crazy. I mean, so what do you stand philosophically? What do you stand on the this point, and what do you want to see in mainstream society, if you may say, to them to see bestiality? What do you want? What do you believe philosophically? That's what my question is to you,
I
Mr. Briggs.
I I think we really have to cognitively reconfigure and just rethink this whole idea, and I think we should erase this dogma on bestiality because it is I feel as if it is happening in the world, maybe behind curtains, behind closed doors, and instead of
Behind the barnyard, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, and obviously a lot of it is documented and it goes viral. So instead of um, being secretive and just kind of hiding behind the shadows, I think we as a strong nation should literally walk out the closet, no,
Walk out of the closet.
and walk out of the closet and admit to or for some addiction, attraction, you know,
Wow.
uh,
Right. Well,
to it.
what my other question was, we had it earlier. You said the economy of the U.S. With the depression or the recession, and it's getting worse, and maybe the porn industry, at least, they say in the 30s, people went to the movies and to, kind of relax their mind about the depression, and they looked for entertainment. Now you said, if society ever allowed this kind of thing to happen, as a business, as a pornographic business, they would make money, and the people will be, more open, and they could enjoy these kind of type of entertainment. You say, well, I mean, is that what you really believe in?
Yeah, yes, I think, I'm sorry, but I think, yes, I think it has a lot of economic and entertainment values. And we have obviously there's a big issue with human trafficking.
Right.
And I think we can completely replace that with animal domestic.
Really?
Yeah, I think yeah, so yeah, we can completely replace that issue, and I think it's a strong way of tackling such a thing with since almost every household in America owns, owns a dog or a
Oh, yeah.
cat.
Yes,
And
they
we're
do.
not speaking in hamster terms because, there's obviously physical limitations to those animals such as rabbits, rats, and really, rodent type of animals. We're speaking more of physically developed animals that have, holes to penetrate and have
Sorry, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, obviously, those smaller animals do have holes to penetrate, you know, uh, holes that can withstand the human phallus.
Okay, well, my next question is, it's very, the listeners are probably saying, wow, this is such a silly subject,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
my question is, well, what about, okay, let's say, some people start to say, maybe this is a legitimate argument, but others will say, well, what about the animals? I mean, how do you know if, I mean, it's such a taboo, I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, it's overwhelming. I mean, what would the animals feel, I mean, they don't have a say in this. It's just, the bigger man makes the lead, or, makes the decisions for the
Um,
animals. I mean, we gotta say the animals gotta feel. Many of the liberals and the environmentalists may say the same thing. I mean, what about for the animals?
that is such a philosophical question that's considered, and not just bestiality, but in just in a lot of other topics such as slaughterings and and etc. But I mean, I completely. My point on the argument is, I as for those animals that do show evident cues of, emotion, like such as a dog wagging his tail with excitement, um, or whining to get, attention, or and and all these other cues. Obviously, they are they're highly emotional animals, and I think just like we humans, we are highly emotional uh, animals. We control that through basically painkillers, drugs. And so what I think is we can generalize that over to these animals. Obviously, um, I think what I recommend with bestiality is for the owner and the animal to have a strong companionship and love for each other, and I think that usually does eliminate the pain factor for the animal.
Now
And
you're saying maybe even one day, you know, California says, let gays marry. Maybe one day California or Germany, Frankfurt, somewhere in the world may say, let marriage with, animals,
um,
legalized animal, marriage.
religious. I mean, we're getting to a point where now people are getting open-minded. The whole closed-mindedness is slowly disappearing. And as for animal marriages, um, that is a possible, yeah, I mean, that could be a possible path in our society. And what I think is, I would I'm a bit ambivalent on the idea, and I think there's a lot of I guess there are pros to it, you know, uh, and there are cons. I mean the whole purpose of marriage is to reproduce, and we humans and dogs we have separate DNAs, and so we can't
Right.
produce babies. So I think maybe marriage with animals is, um, you know, ridiculous. Uh, is a term. Could be a term. And I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, a person can love a his dog very much, but I mean, marriage is just like a social way of legitimizing, the tie. Well, with animals, there is no, we don't need a legitimate, you know, um, label.
Right. Now,
That
I'm just wondering if you have time to stay on, or I could go on for hours. So, I'm just wondering on your side, do you have any time? Should we take a break, or?
Yeah, we should definitely take a break for a second.
Okay, well, we'll be right back.
All right.